Okay, this is going to be a quick lesson on how to pull up the walls. I hear a lot of beginners, and I watch a lot of beginners get to this point. They've centered their clay, opened it up, they have this nice little donut of clay to work with, and then they go to pull up the walls and everything goes wrong. Two of the most common things that happen are, as you're pinching, you pinch too far into the wall and you wind up creating a thin spot or a wrinkle, or pinching this top part right off. That's the main problem. The second one is that as you're coming up, you wind up pinching up through the rim. Now, both of these problems have to do with two main things. Number one, there's not enough water while you're pinching. And number two, you're pinching with too much pressure and you're trying to pinch your fingers together. You never want to pinch your fingers together, because if you think about it, if that's where your fingers end up, then you've pinched right through the wall. So you want to imagine your fingers pinching, trying to pinch as close to each other as 1 centimeter apart, but stopping after that. Imagine that there's something there to stop your fingers. The clay is not going to stop them if you want to pinch through. So you have to imagine that there's something there to hold those fingers apart, so you only pinch as thick as the wall needs to be. So the first thing we're going to do is control our water by drizzling it right over the rim like that. Now we're going to start pressing with our thumb on the outside here. This finger is mostly just there for moral support. Pressing with my thumb, and I'm very slowly bringing it up, and notice how I'm going to bring it up about 1 inch, and then I'm going to stop and let go gently, and I'm going to drizzle some more water down the outside, because that's getting dry, and that's where people usually run into problems. So now it's sliding nice and smoothly again. I'm going to keep pulling up gently and slowly, about another inch. I'm going to add some more water. Now where I have this flaring out, I'm going to push it in with my sponge just a little bit to help it, keep it on track. And now I can continue to pull up slowly and gradually. And notice as I come off the top, see how my fingers stay separated? There we go. Now, this clay was obviously fairly off-centered when I started, which is good because I can show you a couple of other things. Let's slow this down a little bit. The first thing that you probably just saw me do is you can actually throw backwards down the pot. So I'm actually taking clay and moving it back down the pot because I had a wrinkle in the sides. Press that back down, and that will help to even things back out. Drizzle some more water. I'm going to go back down to the bottom again, and I'm going to come up one more time. Nice and gradually, nice and easy. And if you hold your fingers the right distance apart and you support them and use quality technique, you're going to pull that wobble out the top. And see how the top is getting more and more wobbly? It's because we're pulling that wobble out the top. I'm going to take this needle tool and cut the rim off. And that will restore us to a relatively centered pot. Now that's a good strategy as you're learning, because a lot of the times you'll run into the situation where you didn't quite get it centered, or you didn't get the hole quite centered, or you have a little inconsistency in your clay, but you still want to salvage what you've got. So that gets you kind of back to square one. Then we'll just go with the sponge on the outside and even everything up gently and easily. That gets you back to a basically square pot.